And we continue our conversation with U.S. Senate candidate Kevin Nicholson. Turning to immigration, you can't get away from the issue over the past month or two. As a United States Senator, do you have an answer? Do you have any thoughts on it?
Well, sure. And first I'll say I think, a lot more well-formulated thoughts than Tammy Baldwin does. If you watch, and I encourage all your viewers to Google CNN, Tammy Baldwin interview and immigration, it's going to show just a complete meltdown on the part of Senator Baldwin when she had an opportunity to answer a very simple question from a CNN anchor, which was basically, you're upset about what's happening on the border today, but were you also upset when the same thing was happening underneath the Obama administration? And what basically happens thereafter is Senator Baldwin melting down when she simply had to give a clear answer as to what her thoughts are on immigration. And my argument would be this. Tammy Baldwin, through her policies and the Democrat Party in general, has encouraged illegal or unfettered immigration in one way, shape, or form for many years. And they've encouraged people to put their kids in precarious situations on the border by saying illegal immigration is a good thing. And now you have those in the far extreme left saying that we should actually abolish ICE, which is the agency that enforces our border law, which is patently absurd, but that is the philosophy of Tammy Baldwin, who has been encouraging illegal immigration for a very long time. And so what you're hearing from her party and the extreme elements of the left, of which Tammy Baldwin is a member, is simply just a logical conclusion of her politics, which says that borders should not essentially exist. My argument is this. First off, the people of Wisconsin have been very clear on this. They like immigrants. They do not like illegal immigration. Those are two very different things. The first thing we need to do is stop illegal immigration, and yes, through an obstacle of some kind, a wall, a border, a fence, something that blocks illegal immigration and permanently stops it, such that a future Democrat president can't simply erase our border again by fiat like Barack Obama tried to do. Now, once that is done, there will be political will in our state and across the country to say, let's put in place a merit-based, economically sustainable, and intelligent immigration plan, which basically says that if you have skills and you want to come to this country legally and work hard, you will then have the opportunity to pursue citizenship, which will include both education on the rights and the responsibilities that come with being a citizen in a republic. Nothing I just said is controversial. It's pretty much where the American people have been for a very long time. It is our political leaders, or lack of leaders, like Tammy Baldwin, that have made the mistakes that have wound us up into a situation where ultimately Tammy Baldwin is encouraging people to come here illegally so that they are dependent upon her and her political party in order to try and attain some type of legal status. That keeps people dependent, and it makes political leaders more powerful. That's a problem for me. I want people to come here legally. I want the path to citizenship that exists once you come here legally to be commonsensical, good for the American people that are here, and good for new immigrants that choose to come here and then pursue citizenship legally. That's common sense. It's doable. You're just not going to get it from professional politicians like Tammy Baldwin.
Immigration reform, should Congress pass it before the November election or after?
They should pass it as soon as possible. I mean, there's no reason to wait on this. I mean, is that possible given the professional political class? It will be difficult, but look, it's like dealing with health care. The sooner you do these things, the better, because the people of Wisconsin, the people of our nation have made it very clear. We want illegal immigration stopped. We want a sensible and merit-based and economically sustainable plan in place as soon as humanly possible. The sooner we can do this, the better, the less people that are put in harm. And again, I will say this, Google that CNN interview, watch Tammy Baldwin struggle to just simply answer a question, why didn't she care about this issue 4 years ago when Barack Obama was encouraging people to come here legally, as was Tammy Baldwin. This is the ultimate result of the policies of the left that have encouraged illegal and unfettered immigration, that have frankly put a lot of people in a bad situation. And ultimately what we conservatives want, we want people to be successful when they're here. We want them to be here legally, which gives them an opportunity to get a solid footing in this country and then move forward.
So do you see a way to bridge this divide between the left and the right on this issue? You know, the culture out there right now, you've got, you know, Sarah Sanders, Huckabee Sanders being harassed at a restaurant, administration officials being harassed. It's just this new culture we haven't seen before.
Well, I'll just say, Tom, every example you just gave is the left firing at conservatives, not the other way around. And so I do agree with you. This is highly problematic. I do not believe this is coming from conservatives directed to the left. We are very frustrated with the policies of the left that have helped to encourage this situation to develop. But the anger and the vitriol that's coming from the left is a problem and does need to be, we as a nation need to move past it. Now, I'll say this. I think that, again, you can take polls on immigration in particular and find that the vast majority of the American people and the people of our state look at the problem and say, stop illegal immigration. So to really answer your question, yes, I absolutely believe we can come to a solution that the American people will agree to and then move forward. You need leaders in Washington that are willing to get past the nonsense of the special interests and say, look, yes, illegal immigration will be stopped. We will have a merit-based and economically sustainable plan going forward that, again, respects the people that are here already and also, too, respects the human rights of those who would want to come here and become new citizens. We're not going to put them in a disadvantaged status like Tammy Baldwin wants. So, yes, I believe we can do it. I believe that's what the American people keep screaming out and saying they want. They're politicians like Tammy Baldwin and the professional political class that keep failing them. They talk, they talk, they talk, they do not accomplish anything. People of Wisconsin know this. This is why they keep sending outsiders to Washington, like Donald Trump, like Ron Johnson, and it's going to take more outsiders to finally break the logjam and get it through.
As a U.S. Senator, if you get there, you're going to be one of 100 people, a very elite class, very elite group. What's number one on your mind? What's the first thing you want to do when you walk in that door the first day?
Well, our finances are the key to everything. So really when it comes down to, again, I mentioned earlier, we say we're $20 trillion in debt. We're far more than that if you're honest about our long-term obligations. Healthcare is a big part of that, right? Medicare and Medicaid, and not to mention also, too, of course, private healthcare spending. You look at healthcare and the issues, Obamacare is a complete abysmal failure. Tammy Baldwin wants to quadruple down on that. She wants single-payer, government-run healthcare. That is a completely unrealistic attempt at a solution to our healthcare problems. What we really need in healthcare to actually help to deal with our long-term spending obligations are more market forces, like price transparency, regulation that forces providers to actually show what things cost so that both doctors and patients know what they're paying for or how much they're paying for it. Real consumer choice, yeah, sure. Insurers should be able to compete across state lines. They should be able to produce different types of insurance products that make sense for different ages and demographics and groups of people who are looking for different insurance products. And ultimately, people should be able to save more of their money in healthcare savings accounts that allow them to spend it intelligently on products they really want. Now, everything I just said, again, common sense, it's what exists in every other market in the world, right? It's the reason that Cadillacs don't cost $4 million. But we need that in healthcare because that's what's going to eventually drive down the aggregate spend in healthcare for both private consumers but also for the government. Because, boy, Medicare and Medicaid, they're really bad, just like the VA, at setting their own prices. They're terrible at it. And Tammy Baldwin, while she's saying the government needs to take over all of healthcare, which it can't, we are saying, I am saying, get market forces in there, help to suppress the actual cost of healthcare, and yet protect the quality of it, because that's what we really need to do. And we can start to solve this long-term debt crisis. And we have to do this because the people of Wisconsin are directly affected both by the debt, but also, too, by not having the right kind of healthcare choices available to them. That, again, is Tammy Baldwin's fault. She's the one that foisted Obamacare on the people of Wisconsin. We need to hold her accountable. That's why she's not going to be a senator beyond November. But let's now think intelligently about the future and how we do this. You know I care about defense. I fought in 2 wars in my country. But the bottom line is we can't defend ourselves and we can't balance our books and actually take care of our financial obligations. The debt is the biggest threat to our national defense. We need to take care of it.
Kevin Nicholson is our guest, and we're back with more right after this, so please stay with us.